The gaming industry right now never seems to sleep. Every single day I wake up to some kind of new, exciting or terrible news in gaming. Honestly, I just can't keep up. I don't know how channels like RGT85 and Spawnwave manage to make their news blast videos like once, twice, 3 times a day, covering the insane amount of gaming news that just keeps pouring out of the gaming industry. So in the midst of all of this stuff going on, there are 2 very big things that I want to talk about in this video. And yeah, this is kind of a gaming news video, which isn't something I have ever done on this channel, unless you want to go way back and talk about the Morning Wood, which let's never speak of that again. So I guess welcome to Wood News. I'm your host, Wood Wooderson. Let's get right into it. Ba-bang, ba-bang, ba-bang. Let's not make this a normal thing. I'm just desperate for easy content right now because I'm trying to edit on my laptop in an Airbnb. I'm gonna get back to reviewing the eShop games soon, I promise. But to be honest, the Nintendo Online stuff is something that a lot of you did want me to talk about. So when Nintendo had their Direct recently, they covered the Nintendo Online service and everything it was gonna be about, how much it was, blah, blah, blah. And I did my reaction to that entire Direct, and if you go and watch it back, I just kinda had yeah, it's okay, Nintendo Online, everything that's been on their website for months now, and they added one thing to it, the mystery that we don't know what that thing is yet, but apart from that, it was all information that we all already had. And for me, that was tip-top. There was what I wanted Nintendo to do for the longest time was publicly talk about that beyond just throwing it on their website, because who goes and checks the website? Okay, maybe the hardcore Nintendo fans like myself and some of you out there already knew about this, but my biggest thing was, hey, this thing starts soon. Mums, dads, kids, people need to know about this on a bigger scale. They need the information given to them. So they took that online information and they put it into a nice little presentation for the Direct. And again, I was fine with that. But oh my, the internet was not. You guys were not fine with that. The video that Nintendo put up separate about the online stuff got bombarded with dislikes. People were not happy about this. And immediately it took me off guard, and I think I was in the minority because I've been okay with everything. I was okay with it. I didn't see too much of an issue. So to start with, I want to explain why I was okay with it initially. But I will say that after I've explained that, I'm going to talk about the post-buying it, how I felt after actually grabbing it, and my opinion definitely did change. To start with, right off the bat, the way I look at it in its purest, most simplest form, it's an online service where you can play games online against your friends. Strip away anything other than that, and it purely just being an online experience, and comparing the prices for other online experiences like with PlayStation and Xbox or even any subscription service, and I saw $20 for a year, a pretty damn good price. That's where my head was. You pay for what you get. You're paying $1, $2 a month to play unlimited amounts online with your friends. That's not a bad deal. That's actually pretty cheap. And if you went with the family plan for $35, you could split that with 8 people, and whatever math that breaks down to, a few dollars for a year. It's pretty crazy. Nintendo didn't have to make it that cheap. I feel like the reason they made it that cheap is because they feel like right now that's what it's worth, because there isn't that much going on. You don't really have an in-depth party chat system. You use the mobile phone. It doesn't work with every game right now. You don't really have a messaging system. Again, everything's done with an app, and that kind of sucks. So there's a lot that's missing, and for the most part, it's just a starting point. The reason why Nintendo's online service has sucked for so many years beyond just being able to go online and play with your friends is because it has been free. There hasn't been that investment there from the players for Nintendo to go out and improve the system, to add these things, to make it better. It's been bare bones because it's been free. So the way I've been looking at it is this is a jumping on point. It's a way to start funding the online system so we can start growing it outward from here. So we can eventually build up to those things. And then when I actually got it, I'm still in the mindset of it's a starting point and it's really cheap. Let's see where it goes. But I still have my Australian account on my Switch, so going in and buying the online for $30 Australian for a year or $20 American for the year, and then downloading the app, getting these NES games, looking over the library, realizing I've played all these games before, I don't really want to play them again, putting my Switch down and thinking, all right, well, I'll play online when Smash Brothers comes out. I kind of had buyer's remorse in that moment. I'm like, why did I just do that for 20? Like, why did I just spend $20? And nothing changed. Nothing's different. Like, I invested in this service now, and I still can't message my friends because Nintendo just seems to be straight up ignoring what everyone wants. People clearly want this. You guys clearly want this. I respect that, and Nintendo needs to respect that as well. The majority of people want a way to talk to their friends when they play games. That's a no freaking brainer. I can find my workarounds, but I shouldn't have to find my workarounds. And a lot of these features, like the party chats, they only work with specific games. So you can't even sit in a party. One of the coolest things about Xbox and PlayStation is you can just make a party. I have literally booted up my Xbox in the past, made a party with my high school friends, and just sat in there and talked to each other, just hung out with each other. We're all playing different games. We're all doing our own thing. I'm walking around the house eating snacks and peeing with my headset on. I'm not even playing a game, but I'm sat in a party talking to my friends. It's a really awesome feature, and it brings everyone together, and it encourages you to get on that platform, to sit on there for hours, talking to your friends and playing games on the platform. And not even being able to send a message. Like, that one I don't get. There has literally been times, like I've seen Gilly the Kid playing Splatoon on his Switch, and I kind of wanted to shoot him a message and be like, hey, could I join your game? But I can't. I gotta bring up my phone, go to Discord, or bring up my text message and find his number and be like, hey, you want to try and figure out how Nintendo's online service works so we can get in a game for 10 minutes. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's really cheap. It's a couple dollars a month to play unlimited amounts with your friends. You just have to find some workarounds to actually talk to your friends. Or Nintendo, just make it $10 a month and we'll pay for it as long as you put in these features that we want. And it's weird because they've been so good at fan service lately. They're building such a great track history. They've been keeping everyone so happy. They're doing a great job with the Switch. They're bringing all these gamers on board. They've been doing everything right. And then all of a sudden, they just decided to do this one thing that upsets everyone, and they just don't seem to care. Also, so far, since it launched, people are having a lot of issues trying to actually play online, but I think that's to be expected, at least for the first few days. When something like this launches, every YouTube reviewer or curious gamer wants to pick it up and see how the online works. They kind of want to see if it sucks. They want to see if it's great. So everyone's trying it at the same time. So it kind of overloaded the system, and a lot of people were having issues finding matches online or actually playing a match with someone online. For me, I actually didn't have any issues with the online service. I picked it up an hour after it launched, and I played some Mario Tennis for a while, and it was fine. So the amount of people I've seen online the last few days talking about how Nintendo has failed, Nintendo is doing us dirty, Nintendo isn't listening to us, I think a lot of that is valid. I wouldn't personally say that they failed. I say they've launched something that isn't as successful as they wanted it to be, and they have some changes to make. It'll be interesting to see if they make those changes, and I do believe that they need to. But right now, it's really cheap, bare minimum price, for bare minimum features. And I thought it was kind of ironic that when Nintendo is failing, PlayStation is succeeding by copying Nintendo. Again, not my words, but you gotta admit, there's a lot of similarities between the PlayStation Classic and the NES and SNES Classic. Okay, to be fair, there probably isn't a better word that PlayStation could have used other than classic. They are essentially doing a very similar thing, so using that word classic is a good marketing idea because everyone instantly knows what that is. They don't have to explain what it is they're doing. As soon as you hear PlayStation Classic, you don't even have to see any promotion or look at it at this point. You can just be told the words and you can already picture it in your mind. So I think the name kind of had to be the name, but just the marketing around it as well. That white background with the hand holding up the miniature console, it's like picture for picture what Nintendo did when they launched their NES. Again, not bad marketing. Do what works. You've seen Nintendo successful with this. You want to do essentially the same thing. Why would you try and do it differently if you know that this works? Not a majority of people, but a lot of people seem to be really upset that they're copying Nintendo. I don't think it matters at the end of the day. If you're a PlayStation fan, this is awesome for you. If you're a Nintendo fan and you don't like PlayStation, it's irrelevant to you. And before some of y'all try to use my tweet against me that I made last night, that was just a sarcastic, funny haha because I wanted to use the word classic in an ironic way. I kind of like the way I worded that one. So the PlayStation Classic is set to have 20 games on it at this point. They've only announced a few of them: Jumping Flash, Tekken 3, Final Fantasy 7, Ridge Racer 4, and Wild Arms. For me, I don't much care for half of those. Wild Arms is pretty cool, and Final Fantasy 7 is pretty cool, but of course I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy 7 on my Switch. not my PlayStation Classic. If I get the PlayStation Classic, I think $99 is a little steep. Comparing that to the Nintendo at $60 and the SNES at $80, $99 plus tax is like $120 to play these 20 games, and so far I haven't really seen any that are making me want to go out and buy the console. Again, personal preference. So if you throw some nostalgic games from my childhood on there, I don't know if you can put Croc on there, but I would definitely buy that day one. It's not really a PlayStation game, it was on PlayStation. But the original Metal Gear Solid, I never played more than 10 minutes. So if you throw that on there, again, it's getting more tempting for me. But for $99, considering you are making it more expensive than the Nintendo versions, you might want to put more games on it than the Nintendo versions. It comes with 2 controllers, but they ain't DualShocks, which kind of rules out a lot of the games too. Like, you can't have Ape Escape, which is a great game. But obviously that's to cut costs. So again, how hard would it be to throw on a few extra ROMs of your old games? I don't feel like that would have been too much to ask. But for you PlayStation fans, I'm not trying to take this away from you. It is really exciting, and let's be honest, there's a very slim to none chance that I won't pick it up. The rest of the games would have to be like complete trashy games for me to really say, no, and even then I'd probably still want it on my shelf. So I hope my responses to these news pieces didn't upset anyone. The piece of news that everyone's upset about, I'm kind of, yeah, it's whatever. And the PlayStation Classic that everyone's really excited about, I'm still kind of like, yeah, it's whatever. Which I guess just raises the question, how long until we see an Xbox Classic, and what kind of games would you want on that? But of course, all of this is just my opinion, and I really want to know what you guys think. Let me know all of your opinions down below. Click or tap on this video right here because it was probably better than this one, and I'd really appreciate it. If you like this video or you learned a little something, subscribe because we become best friends, and I'm gonna go try and plan out some better videos. This is Wood Wooderson with Wood News, signing off.